How long have you been leading the school trips?
Miss Gossett and I work as partners, and we led our first trip in 2019, and we did a tour of Ireland and Great Britain.
And what has been your favorite trip so far?
I think our favorite trip, well, my favorite trip, and I don't know what she would say, but I think my favorite trip was our second trip when it was called the Grand Tour of Italy. And it was our first trip after COVID, and we had a really big group. It had been postponed a full year because of COVID. We had a really big group. We had like 36 travelers.
What goes into organizing these trips?
Well, recruiting, getting interested students to want to come with us. A lot of students are scared, I think, to travel without their parents or to a different country. So some of that is just, and also sometimes parents are a little nervous too about letting their child leave the country with essentially strangers. Miss Gossett and I always talk about how we're both moms of 4 children, so we're kind of used to traveling with a crew and being super organized. And then, just keep getting all the paperwork together, getting kids to get their passports, and making sure that they're paying for their trip through their online account. Talking with kids about like if they're contributing their own finances, like how they can make that work.
Why do you recommend that students go on these trips?
I cannot recommend it enough. I will travel with all of my own children. I want them all to have this experience. I think that traveling and getting outside of our little bubble here in Louisville or at Male just opens your eyes to all the differences that the world contains, beautiful differences.
What has been your favorite trip so far?
I actually only been on one. It was to Italy. We did 10 cities in 12 days.
And what goes into organizing these trips with the school?
Well, Miss Jankowski and Miss Gossett were the main organizers. And one is just information meetings, getting parents and students aware of it. The itinerary, what you need to do before, there's paperwork and things that you need to know. As a chaperone, I had a group of 7 people, adults and kids, and I was in charge of them throughout the whole trip. So making sure they had their rooms and their luggage. I was the Wi-Fi person. I found the Wi-Fi password as soon as we got to the hotel. That was one of my responsibilities. But making sure they're at the bus at a certain time and they're where they're supposed to be.
And why would you recommend students going on this next trip?
It's an amazing experience. One, it's half the price. If I did this trip as an adult outside of Male, it would have been double the price. And everything is done for you. You just show up to the bus the time you're supposed to be there. The itinerary, the tour, everything is set for you with the exception of lunch, and you get some free time.
What's your name and what grade are you in?
I'm Gabby and I'm a junior.
What trip did you go on?
I went on the Italy and Greece trip.
And how was it going on a trip with the school?
It was really fun, and it was really nice because everything was like pre-planned. Like we didn't have to plan anything. We just had to go and enjoy it.
Would you go on it again?
Yes, definitely.
And what was your favorite part of the trip?
My favorite part was definitely, we went to this island called Capri Island. It's this very rich island off of Italy, and we went to this very pretty beach, and we were cliff jumping with rocks, and it was so much fun.
What's your name and your grade?
My name is Sophia, and I'm in 11th grade.
And what trip did you go on?
I went on the trip to Italy and Greece last summer.
How was it going on a trip with the school?
It was really fun. I got to go with a lot of my friends, and we spent a lot of time together, and school always has something planned for you. Every single day, there's so many activities and so much fun stuff.
Would you do it again?
Definitely. I was actually looking at some other trips that the school is doing before I graduate because I think it's a great opportunity.
And what was your favorite part?
Probably swimming in the ocean in Greece was really cool. The water was so blue. And also going to the Vatican and Rome because I learned so much.